Hold order. We have an executive session plan, item B on the list. If it's okay with everybody, I'd like to push that back to, let's see, after the chief's report. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah. Do you want, okay,
Or do you want to put that at the very end?
probably put it at the very end.
Right, it's fine too, and I'll put it after H. Or somewhere over there.
Unless we had, how about I?
So it'll be a new I, and then J will be new business, and K will be adjourned.
There you go.
Okay. Public comment, anyone? No? Who wrote the minutes of last month?
I read them.
I read them. I make a motion for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Patty, go ahead with your report.
Okay. Financial report, dated April 12, 2017. We have April warrants that total $24,669.52. The total for payroll is $17,116.84, which includes chief salary of $4,212.50 and Assistant Chief Shield pay of $2,833.34. There was one event for the commissioners and the secretaries. The total payout for the volunteers, warrants included, is $11,356. And the financial statements for March are in your meeting book. And so we're just looking for a motion to approve the warrants and payroll for April presented.
Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question for, I noticed we're paying, looks like Bill Skinner for $600.
That is correct. So Bill came on board, he's been teaching engineer academy for us.
Okay.
So he's very well versed in that instruction. And I brought him on board as a fire instructor for that purpose.
Okay, good, thank you. And I noted at the bottom of that sheet, Whatcom County Finance Services, $1,851.
That's for EMS transports. We are actually billed by Prospect Dispatch for the ambulance transports we do ourselves to St. Joseph's Hospital. So when we rendezvous, the organization we rendezvous with is the agency that gets charged for that transport, but we pay for the dispatch fee for that purpose, and that is the $1,800 for BLS. We did, I think, close to 40 transports last year from this organization.
Oh, and this is for 40 transfers?
Yeah, so
Okay.
they charge us a certain amount per transport to reimburse or to assist in bettering our dispatch center. And every agency is charged those amounts.
Okay.
Patty, do you know what that is per call?
Oh, let me see if it's shown out there. One moment. Let me grab it.
And we also have to pay for airlift. So airlift doesn't pay.
So 40 something a call.
Yeah. See if Patty has the exact number. But we have to pay that every year. So that's a transaction or an invoice we get every single year.
The invoice doesn't have it broken down. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what it is per transport.
Well, if it's 40 transports at $1,800 and change, that's 40.
40?
Yeah.
Let me see here.
And
Don't
don't quote me-
45.
Yeah,
So
don't,
40,
yeah,
45.
don't quote me on the 40. I don't remember how many exact transports, but I
So
just
40
I think
or
it's around-
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, I just want to make sure it wasn't a one-time charge for something.
Yeah. So if we transferred at Checkpoint Bravo to North Whatcom or to Ferndale Fire, they pay that fee because they're the ending agency at the hospital.
Mhm.
If we're the ending agency at the hospital, we get charged that fee. Anytime Airlift Northwest takes from us, we're charged that fee for that. So if we have 10 airlift calls during the year, we're getting charged for those as well. We have to add those in too.
Okay. Those are the only questions I have.
Shannon?
make two motions. One, to approve the warrants for $24,669.52. And the second motion to approve payroll for $17,116.84. That's two motions, looking for 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
2 seconds from you. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passed. Okay, Patty, have we got a budget update?
Yes, update on the 2017 budget. As of March 31st, there is 75.39% remaining in the budget.
Okay, thank you. How does that compare to exactly 1 year ago?
Oh, let me see where we were 1 year ago. One moment, let me just that. It's very close. I'm looking back at my financial records here. It's just going to take me a minute to find it. I will have to get back to you on that one.
Okay, that's fine. Personally speaking, if you've been in 1 or 2%, it's fine by me. I seem to remember that it was the same percentage points. So that means
I don't have, she has her book with her, I don't.
Yeah, I have, this was Jeff's book. I have May. I have a balance sheet from April, but I don't have the cover letter from April.
okay. If you think about it, Patty, could you let the chief know?
Oh, yeah, and I can, if you don't mind me butting in here in a minute, I'll let you know. I just need to go through the records here and pull it up.
Yeah, I'll keep you on the phone, Patty.
Okay, you'll stay on the phone.
Great,
Okay, nothing else from you then, right?
correct.
Okay, fine, we'll keep you on the line if you don't mind. Chief correspondence?
Correspondence, I had just a couple questions about 911, and those were phone calls in regards to how the system works. And I have a handout for those that are in attendance today. It was published in the paper, it was published on Point Interface as well, and I'll be placing it on our website in order for people to understand how 911 functions and how they need to speak with the dispatcher that answers the phone on the other end, just to help make sure they're connected to the right PSAP center, and if they're not, that they can get directed to the correct PSAP center. So, that
Is this all that, what you're saying now is in your handout?
is, I don't understand that.
You just explained a little bit of something. Is that included in your handout that you?
Yeah, what's been posted in the paper and stuff.
Okay, well, we will,
all of that's,
What was the cost of putting it in the paper?
I think $345.
At some time in the future, we really need to talk about that.
Yeah, please don't quote me on that amount, but
No.
I'm pretty sure it's 300.
No, I don't.
It's $300 plus dollars.
$300+ for,
Public service announcement, right?
for one app, for one.
For a public service announcement, like we're a profit organization, which we're not. Anyhow,
Anyhow,
So why
Let's
don't you
keep it in
ask
the
him
back.
next time, instead of doing that ad, why not ask next time to write an article or something about it instead? Since that's what he allows everyone else to do.
Okay.
we've got a pretty busy schedule today. Let's put that on the agenda for next month, for the next 2 months. Yeah.
To rediscuss.
Conversations regarding
Okay,
ads in a newspaper.
okay.
Yeah.
I know that you guys did not necessarily approve of me doing that, but I could not do that
You had to
because it
do
was
it.
so important.
Well, let's talk about this
Yeah,
next time.
that's fine, we'll move it, okay?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Anything else? I'm sorry.
Okay, you still with us, Patty?
Yes, I am, and I do have that percentage also.
Okay,
So the budget remaining in 2016 as of March 31st was 76.21% compared to this March, which is 75.39. So very comparable,
Very good.
okay.
within 1%.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, that's 780, 0.8%, 0.8, oh, 1%. It's very good. Keep doing what we're doing. Okay, Betty, I have nothing else for you.
It's good, Patty.
Yes, I wouldn't mind staying on the phone and listening to the rest of the meeting.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
We did correspondence, right? Chief, go after the report.
So Chief's report for April 2017 for March 2017. Point of information, SCBA training has been completed with our membership. I think we only have 1 or 2 members left at this point. All the new SCBAs are currently on the apparatus and in use for primary response. Again, to remind the public, this organization received an AFG grant, Assistance Firefighter Grant, that was submitted last year for $162,000 and change to replace all of our self-contained breathing apparatus, which were obsolete basically this year. So we were very, very fortunate in getting that. There's approximately roughly 10,000 fire departments that put in grant requests on a yearly basis for different things, personal safety purposes, vehicles, health and safety, those types of things. So it's very, very competitive, and we feel very fortunate to have been chosen out of those funds. Firefighter cancer awareness. I'm not sure if I spoke about this last month, but just to give a brief synopsis, over 60%, the new studies show that over 60% of us that are firefighters will get some form of cancer during our lifetimes from the carcinogens in which we come in contact with on our uniforms, on our bunker gear, and or breathe at different times on emergency scenes. So what I've done is I've created some posters, created some publications, and I took those to the Fire Chiefs Association meeting last month. And once a month we have a Chiefs Association with all the chiefs are able to get together in the county. That's held in Bellingham, Washington. They allowed me to speak, and I presented this idea to them. And the idea is to bring all the county agencies together in helping fight firefighter cancer and helping our firefighters be more aware of the risks that we have in regards to all of the carcinogens within a commercial fire, residential structure fire, car fires, all the plastics, those types of things. And there's 60 plus cancers now that have been deemed related to firefighting. The biggest one that we have actually is prostate cancer for males. So we have firefighters in this county that are battling cancers right now, inherently from the profession they've chosen, and hopefully they get through these and they survive. But over 60% of us will come underneath that diagnosis at some point. So this is one of the posters to give you an example of what we've put together. So it's a Stop Cancer. This has changed a little bit up here. We have Stop Firefighter Cancer now up here, and we have another one that says Firefighters Stop Cancer to try to put the onus on some of us in regards to the firefighters taking responsibility to make sure that they're clean after and doing a wet decon, meaning that we spray each other down on scene, get off as many contaminants as possible after a fire, and then washing our bunker gear as soon as possible, and taking a shower and washing our uniforms as soon as possible after a structure fire or any type of fire. So we have before every fire, at every fire, and after every fire. We have our logo down here for Point Roberts. The Whatcom Fire Chiefs Association wants to put their logo over here in this corner, and I'm fine with that. This might change just a little bit because I'm asking for inputs on what is being said. This is really driven from San Antonio Fire. San Antonio Fire has done an incredible job in helping the campaign of making their firefighters more aware of the things that we're used to not doing or that we don't do on a regular basis. You know, dirty gear kills people, and firefighters like dirty gear because it makes them look, you know, seasoned as a firefighter. So if we get new gear, you'll see firefighters rolling around in ash trying to get it dirty in order to look tough. Well, we understand that that's not a perspective that we should be taking anymore, and that if you can smell your gear, it needs to be washed because the carcinogens are gassing off the gear. But sometimes we forget that. So anyway, this is a picture of the burn that we had last year on 229 Marine Drive. This was a practice burn for us, and it was donated to us. It was like a 2,500 square foot home, 2-story home. We lit it off. A lot of people from the public were there enjoying the burn as well, but we used that as a backdrop for our organization. Other organizations will use pictures from their organizations to personalize it a little bit more. They will have their insignia here, along with the Whatcom Fire Chiefs insignia here. So I'm really happy that the chiefs in the county have seen the importance of this and have decided to be included and participate in this as well. So I think it will really go a long ways. So that's the firefighter cancer awareness that I'm trying to push in this county, make us more responsible. The EFT update with the grants that we have in place right now, I don't have really any further information on that. They haven't started giving those awards yet. Once the awards start being produced, I will call Washington, D.C. to see if we're going to be on a later list with some of those grants. The grants, again, are for a chest compression device for CPR purposes, cardiac arrest. And that's worth about $24,000. We have a vehicle grant in, just to remind everybody. Average lifespan of a vehicle is 20 to 25 years. We have one vehicle that is now 26 years, and it is Big Red, or engine 5802. Our newest rig is a 1994, so it is 23 years old. And we're going to have to be replacing those engines at some point in our near future, not distant future. Then we have a 1991 ambulance that's going to have to be replaced. It's our white ambulance out here as well. And hopefully that with the commissioner's workability, that we'll be working at redesigning our fleet a little bit to make it more logistically appropriate for what we respond to here in Point Roberts.
How much is that grant?
The vehicle grant's $478,000. Fire truck is basically $500,000. Ladder trucks are anywhere from $750,000 to $1 million. And that's the cost of doing business these days. But I'm willing to work with commissioners and find the most appropriate way of coming about replacing the fleet that we have. We'll have to work on that. Apparatus engine 5802, it's going in for tank repair. It was supposed to be already in for that tank repair to get the water tank, which holds 2,000 gallons of water inside of it as we speak. It has a crack in it that's unrepairable, and it's leaking about 500 gallons a week. And that's going onto the concrete, damaging our concrete floor, and we need to get it repaired. Plus, if we show up, we think we have 2,000 gallons and we only have 1,500 in the tank, that decreases our operations time before we have to be connected to water. I have 47 members. I had one member resign this last month due to back issues. He's unable to continue because he has some back injuries going on. That takes me down to 25 Canadians, 12 Point Roberts, 10 County, 6 paramedics on staff, 16 EMTs, 2 ambassadors, 39 firefighters total out of that number. Volunteer hours for the month of March, 2,795. Volunteer payroll, 12,601 if all the volunteers were getting paid. Combined chief hours, I worked 185 hours last month. Assistant Chief Shields, 151.5. Total chief hours, 336.5 hours. We had 20 calls in the month of March, 9 EMS calls. We had 2 Airlift Northwest. So we had 2 critical patients that had to be flown off Point Roberts to St. Joseph's Hospital. And then we had 7 other patients that chose not to be transported and refused that service. We had 1 public service, and that meaning we had a tree that fell over a road, so we went out there and assisted with that tree. Where was that, John? Do you remember? I don't remember where that was. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't remember where that was. We had 10 fire classifications, 2 permitted burns, 2 unpermitted illegal burns. We're having more and more people burn, not just shrubbery, but they're burning construction material. And construction material is actually illegal to burn because it's treated usually, and that's with Northwest Clean Air. If people were reported for burning that, I believe the fines start around $1,000. So we try to help people understand the rules and the regulations, the RCWs that are in place for outdoor burning. You can't burn trash, you can't burn construction material, you can only burn seasoned wood or your shrubs, those types of things. But we do have a lot of people burning other things. So we take the time to try to educate on the initial contact when we have an illegal burner. We do give correction notices, and if we return and have to continue giving correction notices on the 3rd one, those community members go to the fire marshal's office, and then the fire marshal starts the investigation and the tacking on of financial strain to those individuals. And they'll be reported to Northwest Clean Air as well.
Why do you give them 3 correction notices? Why not 1 and then say, gosh, it's no longer a mistake?
Yeah, it's like the 3-strike rule. That's where basically I came up with that. To give them opportunities. We want to try to help educate our community members and the visitors here before we start a negative action on them. After 2 times, the first time, okay, maybe you didn't know. Second time, well, this is our 2nd time here in a week or 2, and now it has to be stepped up. I'm just letting you know. The 3rd time, you're going to be reported. We take pictures of all burns that we respond to, especially if they're illegal burns. Those get uploaded into our reporting system. And so we have record of what they were burning, how big the pile was, so it doesn't become a he said, she said type of incident. We've had that in the past where people say, well, the fire was only a 2x2, and in reality it was like a 6 by 7 feet high fire, and they go, I was well within the legal realms of the regulations that are out there, and we go, no, you weren't, here are the pictures and stuff like that, so it's hard to argue against the objective information. And that's to protect this organization too from the she said type of banter back and forth, especially if it goes legal. We did have a legal process against 1 individual here on Point Roberts that has been historically burning and falsifying documents, our documents with different dates, and they had a court date not too long ago, and I'm not sure what happened in those proceedings. Yeah?
It's held over.
I'm sorry?
It's held over.
It's held over? Okay. We had 1 false alarm, meaning that we get dispatched to an automatic alarm system inside of a structure, a home, or a residential, and it ends up not being anything at that point. We had 1 hazmat incident. We had 1 boat fire reported, and it was on KDOC. It came in around midnight, I believe. And we had a report that a boat was on fire. We had 7 personnel turn out for that, which was a good turnout at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning for us. And the person that called it in was actually at the marina. It ended up being a sail that had released in the high winds, and it was flapping next to a light down at the end of the dock. And they took it as that was a flame going back and forth. So KDOC is one of the docks that has been standpiped for us, so it was really beneficial. That the marina is standpiping the majority of the docks. They're doing 6 more docks this year. So I think they'll have 12 out of 18 docks standpiped, which is going to decrease our attack time and getting water on that boat probably by more than 5 minutes. Because at this point, the docks that are not standpiped, we basically have to hump 500 feet of 3-inch hose down the docks. And if we don't have the amount of personnel, that can take us a long time to do that. So it's really going to improve our efficiency to have those docks all standpiped. We had 1 animal rescue, and that was behind the school here in the blackberry bushes. They had been working on this animal that got caught in the blackberry bushes and wouldn't come out. It was a dog, for an hour or more before they contacted us. And by the time we got back there, somebody had a backhoe that they got back there, and they dug the dog out, and the dog was released by the time we got back there. So that was animal rescue, and then we ended up with 2 chimney fires this last month as well. And those are quickly dealt with. We usually put a rag inside the fireplace, let it steam itself out. But when you have fire coming out of your chimney, that's not what it's designed for. So I always advise people to have their chimneys cleaned on a yearly basis. And that concludes my chief's report for this month.
Thank you, Chief. I have a question for you. I've asked you that once before, about a year ago. If you rely a lot on education, educating people when you give them a burn permit, right? I mean, that's ideally everybody should know what the rules are.
Yeah.
Ideally, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, when most of the burning starts, it's usually in the nicer weather, and our Canadians are here, and you get your permit over at Nielsen's.
Correct.
Nielsen's is not an educational system. They could care less about the $3 players fee. It's probably more of a nuisance to them. You cannot pay your permit with a credit card. You cannot put it on your account if you happen to have an account. It's cash only. These people have other things to do there. Now, you're missing a great opportunity, I think, here by not selling them here. Now, all of a sudden, if Mr. A wants to get a permit, he's faced with a uniformed firefighter. The uniformed firefighter can and should and will, I hope, explain what it says in the back.
Yes.
Therefore, I think you have a good opportunity to tell these people, whoever wants to permit, hey, don't do this, don't do that. Cannot expect that from sales clerks or Nielsen. Another thing is, if there ever is a problem with a burn, like a minor burn turns into a major burn, a major fire, I wouldn't want to be Nielsen because they're almost guilty by accomplishment, by being, within the system. They're the ones that give you the system. They're the ones that take money from you. Me, the stupid ass, that lets a fire get out of hand. They'll be named in the lawsuit.
They definitely could be.
Yeah. And I would hope that you consider this.
Yes.
So let me explain something as a former naive burner. I did not know that you could only burn in certain miles an hour. I never looked at the back of the permit. Why would I? I got the permit, I got my permit, who cares?
Yeah.
And out I go. And someone explained to me that I could have all my stuff in one big pile, which would have been about 10 by 10 by 10, and I could just flick a match. Nobody there has ever, like you said, they don't have time to do it, and it's
They
really
don't
not
want to
their
hear that
job.
stuff. And they don't want to hear that from a sales clerk either, and a sales clerk is
Well,
not
the sales clerk,
educated.
it's not their job, really.
No.
So this was in place before my time. I don't know who established it. Do you know what chief
Nick.
allowed Nielsen's to sell the permits?
Nick.
Nick did?
Yeah.
So it was before my time. Did Skinner sell those here prior to?
No, what it turned out to be is before we actually had staff here, it was more of a hindrance.
I know.
So they made it easier for the weekend people, when there was no staff here, for them just to go down to Nielsen and get a
We
permit.
had nobody here at the time, Chief. Now that it's completely turned around, we have more people, in all hours here than Nielsen had.
Right, and I understand that. I'd like to have a meeting with Nielsen's regarding this, to see how comfortable they are with that. Allow me the opportunity to make sure that they can show that they're educating people that are
I don't know.
having the
Well,
permits.
I gotta go with Bill on this. It's like, first of all, it gets people into the fire district. It gets people coming here, being comfortable here, seeing a firefighter. Maybe if they're actually required to do that, they'll be a little less liable to light the 10 by 10 by 10. And, I mean,
Where we have the difficulties is the residential burning, and that's the permit that they do sell. And that's normally what we find all the problems with, is people burning outside the regulations of material and size in regards to the residential burning. So there's regulations on how far you have to be away from a fence, how far you have to be away from a home, that you can't have a tree lower than 15 whatever feet or 20 plus feet above you, so you don't start the tree on fire.
right?
So there is a lot of education that does go along with selling permits. What would you like me to do?
Cancel.
And you would like us to...
Explain to him or to his sister or whatever, that we would like to take that responsibility back in its entirety. It is a fire issue. It is actually a fire department issue, that they have the responsibility for issuing that yellow piece of paper.
Yeah,
You
you might
cannot expect from anybody else, except your own personnel here,
Yes.
to do an educational job. Listening to as to how they educate people there is not going to do you any good.
Okay, and then one step further, down there you get a permit, it's good for 3 days.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, make it for a longer, when they come up here, make it for a longer period of time, so the inconvenience is less. You can still educate them, and they still have a burn permit, much like they have the annual recreational permit for 20. You could have a residential permit for 3 months for $10, and then they're up on new regulations and everything else. It's gonna require those staff, there isn't, if you go out in the call, the place is locked up.
I will have to check with Fire Marshal's office to see if there's a county code in effect that only allows it to be for 3 days. If there's not, then I can set how long I want those residential burns good for a certain price, but I'll have to follow the Fire Marshal's lead on that. So I will investigate that.
There's only 2 counties in Whatcom, or 2 areas in Whatcom County that still burn, and that's Loaming and Point Roberts. That's it. I mean,
Yeah,
the
the rest of the county
death
does.
of this is coming soon.
Yeah, the rest of the county does burn. We require burn permits on every burn, and we've had for a number of years. That's posted on our website. The county does allow residential burns because we respond to those in District 7. They may not require the permit, but the reason why we require the permit is because we do not have a quality mutual aid response, that if a structure fire or, not structure fire, but if a residential fire turns into a wildland fire, that's why our education at the time of the permit is so important to educate people.
Well, then right there is your answer to Bill, is there is no education going on at Nielsen, and it's not fair to actually expect them or the people working there to give that kind of education to anybody.
I see that it does place them in a hardship.
And he may actually
You
say,
can't
thank
place
God,
them
we
into a
want to get rid
hardship.
of it.
A legal hardship, a legal position, that the person could come back and say, well, they didn't say anything about the permit. I will take that to Chris and Lauren and have a discussion with them. And I'll report back to you what we have concluded to do. And I appreciate your input on that.
Okay. One last thing about it. If you issue a PA yourself, you have a daily log as to where a potential burn might be, which you don't have over there.
Yeah, we actually, they keep the logs.
But
Because
that's
they're
after the
duplicated.
fact. I understand that,
Yeah.
but the day shift, when they come and do this 8 or 9 in the morning, okay, who has a burn permit? Oh, that. Okay.
Yeah.
Peace of mind up here.
And I want the public to know, we do our best to treat everybody justly. And that is with equality. We had a burn on APA Road in the middle of the field. We had 2 close burns. They had a tractor there. They had a water source that was really close to probably not providing the correct gallons per minute that were necessary for the residential burn they were doing. But I let them know that I was very happy because they were permitted, they were doing the best job they could, and we assisted them with a couple things, and we allowed them to continue burning. I want to let you know that we will, and my officers will, be just to all of those who need to burn, and we understand it's very hard to get rid of land clearing stuff except for taking it to the transfer station. So that is completely understood. And I want to let the public know that it is our primary purpose to make sure that it's being done in a safe manner so the rest of the public is not put in harm's way, and that your property or the house you own is not put into harm's way because your neighbor is burning in 20-mile-an-hour winds and the embers are landing on your roof. And that's what people don't get. The embers can travel for blocks and blocks and blocks. Well, you don't have blocks here, but in a city, there's been structure fires that have happened in one block, and a quarter mile away they have homes on fire as well because the embers flew that far and remained in contact and started their roofs on fire.
Okay, so again, who is the best person to explain that to the person asking for the permit? Us at the fire station,
yes.
or
I
the
would
court
agree.
clerk at Nielsen's who is starting today and has 5 people coming?
Right, I believe that
Okay,
through the educational process we are the best.
Let's leave it there.
hold it here, you know what you have to do on that.
Yes,
Report back to us next month.
I will. Thank
Hopefully,
you.
we'll have a better business system then. Okay. That was the end of that. Unfinished business. Fire district, hospital district signage. Before we go any further than that, it is my opinion, my only maybe, that we should put the signage to rest for a while and put it to bed. It deserves a rest and we deserve a rest. Let's work. Let's start working on a better relationship with the hospital district. Let's start working on a relationship that we can be proud of. That no stabbing anymore. We will always remain the landlord and they will remain the tenant. Okay, but it doesn't mean we have to be unfriendly. It doesn't mean we have to shell rags down their throats. That doesn't mean that we're becoming distant landlords here. It's a small town, we should be able to do that. Let's treat everybody with respect. That's all I have to say about that item. But in other words, if you follow me from the beginning, the sign is dead, in my opinion.
The discussion for a new sign.
No, you can discuss it, but in my own opinion, if you would bring up the matter of a sign right now, I just stay dead quiet. Dead quiet. Nobody's gaining anything right now. Nothing. That's my opinion.
If I want to sign in here, can I?
Yeah, sure, yes.
That's a different sign, sorry. I understand that.
Well, I have something to say
Anything?
about that, yeah.
Okay.
I want to spend a few minutes explaining some of what has actually been going on with the hospital district in me over the last few months. Last July, this commission divvied up the working with the other taxing districts and the water board in an effort to, among other things, understand what they were doing and to see how they handled certain things like construction and contractors. When I proposed these liaison roles, I thought it would be a win-win for the organizations and therefore for the taxing, or for the benefit of the community as a whole. Since I have been part of the establishment of the hospital district as a taxing district, I volunteered to work with them. I was happy to do so. I was excited that there was going to be a formalized cross-pollination of taxing districts. Those positive feelings for me did not last very long. I tried to tread carefully because here I was, coming to them out of the blue. While I didn't think I would be met with open arms, I was not expecting what had happened. Starting with the very first contact with them, I was met with open hostility. I ignored that for as long as I could. As you all know, the hospital district is under contract to lease space from the fire district for the clinic. There are a few other issues that we needed to clarify with them. I initially believed that these issues would be resolved quickly as they were brought to someone's attention. They were easily resolvable, simple issues involving regular, customary landlord-tenant items or recognition of business practices. Instead, the issues were met with defensiveness or a deaf ear. Just recently, most of these issues have finally come to be resolved. So I think the time for the role of the liaison should change. I do not want to attend their meetings as a fire district commissioner. Instead, I want to send the hospital district commission a letter outlining the following. They can continue to contact me via my fire district email when they have facility issues. We can work out, we will outline landlord-tenant issues, related issues, and our expectations. For example, if we need an insurance certificate, that should be automatically submitted on an annual basis. If they have issues they would like us to consider outside of that, they can contact, I think, Linda, asked to be put on the agenda, and they can provide her with the context of what they want us to look at, and then she can forward that to us. And then if there are issues about abiding by the contract or delays or something of just general common business practices, I don't think that should be handled by the commissioners or the chief anymore. I think that should be handled through our lawyer. For those who are not familiar with the hospital district organization, there's a provider of services called Unity Care Northwest. And the people working at what we typically call the clinic are employees of Unity. The hospital district will collect approximately $250,000 this year in taxes from our community. Of that, $179,000 go directly to Unity Care. While I am thrilled to still have a clinic, after all the hard work that people did to get it going, as a taxpayer, I have become concerned, not as a fire commissioner, I have become concerned about some of the things I've seen and heard at the hospital district meetings that I've attended recently. I have expressed some of my concerns directly to the hospital district, and you should know that nobody goes to their meetings. They do not record their meetings, and they have a minimal web presence. So as a result, they can basically do what they want, and I've expressed that concern to them. Ideally, our local newspaper would be delving into these issues, but they haven't. I assume that an article, one-sided, will come out soon, where I will get green for whatever I have done, and that's fine. But as a taxpayer, I have the right to attend meetings, to ask questions, and to make public records requests. I have done so, and I will likely continue to do so until my concerns are allayed. I intend to attend meetings as a public taxpayer, so if anybody wants to discuss what my concerns are, I will do that in person on my personal email, if you have that, or you can call me at home, but I do not want to discuss it anymore at these meetings. I think that you had pointed out that they tabled their signage topic, and on 3 separate occasions at their meeting last week, I said that I was withdrawing my support for the sign. If you guys want to talk about it, that's up to you. But I believe we have spent an inordinate amount of time talking about all things hospital district in the last few months. So it's time to move on. It's time for this commission to focus on its job, which I believe is the work of the fire department. And I don't want to talk about any more unless there is an issue that we have to address as a commission.
Okay, so we won't talk about it anymore.
We shouldn't be discussing, we don't discuss anything but fire department business here.
Yep. Pension?
And please, anybody of this commission, if you have an issue with any other district, you better off go there yourself and declare yourself a private individual. Because inevitably it will come back here if you don't do it. And that's not very nice.
Well, I want to make it abundantly clear, my concerns are as a taxpayer, and that's all that I have. I have the right to do that, and as does anybody else, and that's where we're going to leave it. So let's go talk about the pension and move on.
Okay?
Okay?
Yeah, pension contributions and for Chief Carlton. Are you still there, Patty?
I am still here, yes.
No. All right.
You want to discuss the meeting date first before?
can do this right here, say, we're talking, law enforcement, firefighter, pension fund, right? Chief?
The left,
The left.
which is law enforcement firefighters pension plan,
Right.
and it's pension plan number 2.
Okay.
For the last couple months, I've spoken about that and my interest to become part of that,
Yeah.
and also to become a full-time employee with the district, which is one of the requirements for that purchase.
Okay, my two other commissioners, are you up to date and well educated enough that you can make a decision now that Chief Carlton is going to be under the umbrella of LEEF?
It is part of the addendum to the contract, the employment contract, going from a part-time employee at 100 hours to a full-time employee at 160 hours.
Right, but since we discussed this issue
Yes.
at the last meeting, I'd like to clear that up before we go into the major one.
Yes, and the current contribution is 0.523. It's a 5% contribution, and my contribution is 0.8. So it ends up being roughly 14% that's put into the pension. I do the same thing down in District 7. Same contributions hold there for any employee doing that in the left, police or fire. And right now, I'm putting into Social Security. The district pays 6%, and I pay 6% into Social Security. So by moving myself into left, I will no longer put into Social Security is negated at that point. I cannot contribute to both. So I will no longer contribute into my Social Security. Instead, I will contribute into my pension plan.
Okay, so, sorry to interrupt, Chief, but we won't get out of here before 9 in the morning.
That saves
Are
the
we
district
going
roughly
to save without going into all kinds of calculating baloney, it saves the district money, obviously, if you, on one hand, you pay out 6% for an employee, or on the other hand, you pay out, how much is it, 4.5?
5.23.
Well, we're saving a little bit of money that way. Now, in order to move this on, are we still up to date as to what we want to do? If we want to move forward with this left? And if so, then we'll better make a motion.
That we move forward with it. I'm still in favor of us sitting down and going over some of the details. We have to amend the contract.
I know, see, but the contract has really nothing to do with that.
So,
That's true.
Yeah, that's correct. It's part of the
Motion
agenda.
for left, and then go talk about the contract.
Exactly.
All right,
That's
do that.
clean.
I make a motion, what do you want me to say?
That's up to the
What do you
commission.
want to say?
Well, I'd make a motion that we want to approve the chief's request to go over the left retirement system in lieu of
Social
the
Security.
social security system.
I
I
second
think
that.
that's as simple as I can say it.
I second that.
Okay.
Vote?
So we have that, are we all in favor of that?
Yes, I'm in favor.
Good, okay, motion moved, motion passed. Okay, that's out of the way now. One more thing, and then we'll go into the executive session. And that is, next month, May, we have a scheduling problem for our regular monthly meeting. I believe the regular monthly meeting is, you got a calendar coming up? Around the 10th or so?
Yes, May 10th.
May 10th.
Yep, May 10th.
okay. I won't be here. You won't be here,
I'll be recovering down.
okay? And I will be back on the 15th in town here.
And that, the 15th is what day?
The
Monday.
15th is
Monday.
And I am not available
on Monday?
on Monday.
How about
I'm
Tuesday?
available Tuesday.
Okay, I was upset, Patty, with your warrants and all that stuff.
Wait a minute.
They're gonna be late.
Tuesday the 16th is good for me.
Yeah?
That would be late. Basically, the warrants wouldn't be cut until May 30th,
Yeah.
which is fine. It'll just be late.
I know, it's just pushing it a little bit, right?
So,
Right, but it's doable,
It's
unless you
doable.
want to knock it up.
can we hand carry everything down to you? The following morning?
I'll be at the May meeting. I'll be at the May meeting.
Okay,
So
how's the 16th work for you?
the 16th, that looks great.
16th for you,
No.
Chief?
That is
Every
fine.
day the flow chooses works for me.
So 4
Linda,
p.m.
16th?
Yeah, works good.
Yeah.
16 is fine by me too. Okay, then, in order to change that regular monthly meeting, we need to have a resolution to that effect for that one day only. Did you receive anything from Brian Stewart?
I have not prior to this meeting. I had.
You said he was going to send it right over at 3 o'clock.
I can't say that I checked my email after that.
Okay.
So I will check that.
Okay.
And this is in place. This does not need to be a special meeting because it's
No.
after the regular scheduled meeting.
That's right, there's no special
So
meeting.
if we have it before the regular meeting in the month, then it becomes a special meeting. So this is just another regular meeting. That's the date is changed.
Okay.
In order to have a quorum.
Yeah, so I don't think you need a resolution.
I don't think you need a resolution.
Yeah, you do.
You do?
Parks
That's
Board
why-
has
that's
moved their
why-
meeting to tonight.
What?
Parks Board has moved their meeting to tonight
Yeah,
with a
I
resolution.
see it, but I read in my big white book and it was questionable in my mind, so I called Brian
Okay.
Stewart.
Better be safe than
Well,
sorry.
Yeah.
I told Brian, he said yes.
If you just need to change, excuse me, if you just need to change the date, I think you just need to make sure that it is posted and an advertisement notice goes out, or at least the
Yeah.
paper is informed so that the public is notified. But if it's not a permanent change, that's all you should need to do.
Well, that's how I explained it to Brian too. But he was pretty adamant though, we gotta have a resolution for that.
Well, what harm is there gonna be to have a resolution?
Nothing.
Yeah,
There's no harm, I'd make a motion for a resolution to change the meeting
Thank you.
before it's signed.
So to change the meeting from May 10th
Yeah.
to May 16th,
Mhm.
keeping the same time at 4 p.m.
Correct.
Right, got that, Linda?
Yep.
Okay, then we'll follow it up.
We'll follow it up with a resolution number and all that.
That's fine. Do you want to mention May 17th?
May 17th, that is the town hall meeting.
That is the town hall meeting
Oh,
Oh,
that we had put in place.
do we have that? I don't have that on my calendar,
Yeah, May 17th.
I don't have it on my calendar either.
but I do remember.
Yeah, so May 17th was a date chosen to have another town hall meeting that the public can come to and that they can ask questions to myself and the commissioners about the district business.
Like the last one.
That was so
The
fun.
most attended.
Well, the last one, it was the presidential election at the time as well. Everybody was watching that, so we would like to announce the town hall meeting May 17th. And what time would you like to have that?
I'm good.
7 p.m.?
Sure.
7 p.m.?
Mhm.
7 p.m., which gives people time to come home,
Have dinner.
have dinner, and then come to the meeting.
And have cookies.
Have cookies, we'll have cookies. And maybe our mouse will come back and join that meeting with us again
I still don't know why you didn't let her put that in the meeting.
Minutes.
in minutes.
I did put it.
But I would like to invite the general public that watches this video to that meeting. And please come meet us, get to know us, and ask questions that you may not understand at this point. And find out information about us.
All right, we've got 2
Meet and
days.
greet.
Well, okay, keep an eye on that, on your email there, Chief, you probably are checking it now.
So are you gonna post that?
I will post that. And Linda will post that as well.
Hey,
Do
can
you
I-
want to contact the newspaper and stuff
Sure.
with that?
Can I have somebody make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss personnel and personnel records for contracts?
So moved.
Yes, second.
Okay.
I do have that resolution for the regular meeting. Do you want me to print that off?
Why don't you do that?
Or
sign
change it
later. We'll sign
so
it
you can
in the
sign it
warrant.
after the executive
So
session?
we're covered completely.
Primary thing is to get the resolution number on these
It's
minutes.
02.
Linda, do you want me to forward this to you and you work on it?
Sure. It's 2017-02. There's only one resolution.
And how long is the executive session going to be?
Hopefully not too long.
What?
Half hour?
Oh, I hope not, I hope.
I just said the same
15
thing.
minutes, 20 minutes?
Probably leave it to half an hour,
Yeah?
just to give us time.
But we could return early.
No, and
Thank you.
No, if we say a half hour, these people are allowed to leave, and then they should be able to come back, they can count on us, so. So it'll be
if
at 5:25.
we really stick to the facts, and forget the blah, blah, blah bullshit.
Well, the baloney.
So 5:25. We'll say 30 minutes,
Can't
5:25.
we say 15, 20 minutes?
Well, the only thing that is after the 5:25 is adjournment.
Right.
So
Signing
we're
the
doing
resolution.
this so that we don't have to stay and sit around for an executive session, which you'll never know anything about anyhow. So there isn't anything that we can talk about.
Yeah, but then we have to sit here even if we're done.
That's right.
Kind of that
I don't want to
baloney
inconvenience the people that are at this meeting.
Obviously, when we come back out of the executive session, we have to, what we discussed, and then we make a decision.
That would make a decision.
And that's what we will here.
Okay, let's just say 5:25.
Okay, you go back to the second minute. Okay,
So adjourning until 5:25.
you still with us, Betty?
Yeah.
Patty, I'll give you a call from the executive. So I'm gonna call you back.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh, okay, sounds good.
bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we need another 15 minutes for the session. So we'll be back at 45.
Well, that I could do.
So,
No,
we need to cover.
I don't have a pencil.
I have a pen. I have an extra pen.
I had one here, obviously, the whole time. Oh, Jesus.
you didn't have-
These are all highlighters.
Nurse.
Do you know anybody?
Golly, there's only a medical professional nearby.
No, I don't have one.
All right, so let's go.
If I can pull out a pen and I can keep going.
Thank you for still being all here. Very nice to see you all again. We had a session, we talked about the chief's salary, present salary, and if there is any recommendations for the increase. We talked about the CPI, we talked about his employment contract, his addendum to the employment contract, and
Benefits,
benefits,
my vacation hours, my sick leave.
sick hours, vacation hours, bereavement. And now, folks, have we come to certain conclusions here?
Yes.
Yeah, have you want to start maybe with the salary increase?
So,
If that's the case?
Just a second.
his monthly salary right now is based on 100 hours. We're going up to 162 hours. Right now, he's basically paid $42 an hour, and we didn't do the exact math. I propose we go to $5,000 a month or $60,000 annually.
Okay, Stan, how do you feel?
I feel that that's equitable.
Okay. Next.
The next thing is the paragraph 7 due process clause. It is deleted and then replaced with the following paragraph. And it's lengthy. Do we need to go over it in detail, or?
No,
Just attach a copy to the minutes.
It'll be in exhibit, so.
Okay, so we have that in exhibit then.
Yeah.
And then we talk about, the fourth item is termination for just cause, which is section 10. And that is, the current one is deleted and then just replaced with a couple of changes. We remove provision 10.2, which is really inconsequential. And then the next item is for liability. Number 6, we have number 17, liability, and that is a new paragraph, and it talks about the district defending the employee in legal proceedings, and that the district shall maintain liability insurance. That's just a common provision.
Yes, that's correct.
And change event number 7, change of entity, change to entity, meaning that we either merge with another district or what's,
We, in the event that we merge, consolidate, annex, or the district is dissolved.
so it somehow changes its individualness into something bigger or is dissolved. And so it just talks about how he will retain much of his contract within that new entity. Good enough?
The exhibit B,
Oh, exhibit B, we, is that the name, we just talked about that, right?
so what's on the table is changing my vacation hours. Right now I'm at 100 hours, part-time employee was 40 hours a year that I got. I'm requesting that it goes to 180 hours, which is in line with other full-time fire chiefs in the county. And that is my request. The 200 hours maximum that I can accrue, which on a financial basis, the district is responsible for because I would be paid out those hours. I'm leaving this organization at any time, has not changed. So that has remained the same with my underlying agreement. So there's no more financial impact to the district on that front. The sick and bereavement, I had 40 hours of sick leave time as well. I am requesting that goes up to 96, which is in line with other fire chiefs in the county. 1 sick leave or 8 hours, 1 month accrued for 96 hours. The maximum accrual of this is also 200 hours, which has not changed from my last contract as well. The bereavement was only 3 days of time. I requested because I will have to go to Colorado and possibly Kansas City. I requested that my bereavement be brought to 5 days for that purpose. And that covers exhibits B.
And then there were some changes to exhibit A, do we need to go over those?
So exhibit A is my job description. We took out the word rules in that document because we do not necessarily have a District 5 rule book. We function underneath policies, procedures, and guidelines. So that was removed. There was a clause in there as well that is actually the fire marshal's responsibility. That was removed within my job description. And some other wording was removed due to I am not responsible for the feelings of other individuals. And so those wording that would make me responsible for the feelings of other people were removed.
Okay, just to make it clear, that you may call that the morale officer,
Right.
morale and welfare officer, you don't want to.
We're gonna attach copies of the whole
Yes.
exhibits
Right,
anyway, right?
don't worry about it.
Okay. Because I wasn't in the meeting, so I was like, what?
So I'm asking for the changes to exhibit B.
A,
A,
Well, exhibit
we
B,
already talked to B, yeah.
and then also that the cleaning up exhibit A is also approved.
Yes,
That's what I'm asking for.
yeah, okay. And really, exhibit A is, and you changed the part-time things to
Yes,
full-time.
everything that says part-time will go to full-time.
So this is just, exhibit A is cleaning up, doing some housekeeping. It's really not changing anything material.
No, and I'm requesting these changes due to my employment status changing from part-time to full-time,
Yep,
and to make myself somewhat comparable to other fire chiefs in this county.
okay.
Now, this is gonna be impossible to put in a motion.
It depends on what Linda just wrote.
Why don't we just do a blanket type deal and say, okay,
Like a motion on what was just discussed.
to approve in the employment contract and exhibit A and B,
Second.
Okay, all in favor, yes?
Aye.
Okay, then that's done.
So the only other question I have is, at the beginning of, or the first part of the regular meeting, we approved the retirement stuff, but that required a full-time employee. Do we need to go back?
No, we just did that.
So we don't, but we
It just
approved
validates that.
something, okay, so we can,
This,
All right.
the last motion validates the motion.
the first one,
That's about it.
I just wanted to make
Well,
sure.
full-time now, all this, all that.
That's just missing my point.
Is she still on the line?
No, she's not.
Okay, so,
Good night. Motion for adjournment?
a motion, so moved.